Hi, DGDin here from Jinx Games, and this sample is for Stain on Discord. And let me just play this first so you can see that it's working. Um, so I'm gonna stop player 2. He has a score of 3. Player 1 has a higher score, and it's gonna be red. And player 2 is gonna be blue. I just stop this first because else I'm gonna have player 3 and 4. So it's easier to see like this. So now I'm gonna stop first player 1, and then player 2 is gonna be higher. So player 2 is now in red and player 1 is in blue. Okay, now let's go to the states and look to the actions. First I have my player 1 here with a get time info, and when I click on player 1, I'm gonna set this bool for player 1 is done, and then I'm gonna test if player 1 and player 2 is done. If they are done, I'm gonna send this event to here, and I have exactly the same on player 2, except I changed the bool for player 2. Okay, uh, then I go here in. So when both are done, I get the update high score event. Then the first thing, I have two bools here that I'm gonna like reset. So I'm gonna set them to false, and I will show you in a second for what I use them. Then I have a float compare, and I'm comparing score from player 1 and score from player 2. And if player 1 has the highest score, then I'm gonna set this bool from player 1 highest to true. And if player 2 has a higher score or equal, then I'm gonna set player 2 as a highest. The reason I set player 2 as highest for the equal is because with this loop, first player 1 gonna be placed here, let's say on position 5, and with the compare here for the score, if it's equal, it's gonna set also as new high score. So after player 1 is done here on the 5th position, it's gonna loop for player 2, and it's gonna say, yeah, the player 2 high score is gonna be higher, so it's gonna place the player 1 to number 6 and player 2 to number 5, and that's why I want player 2 to be red. Okay, so here I'm setting the bool for player 1 or player 2, and just before here I have resetted this to false for both. So next up is setting up player 1. So for player 1, I'm getting the score from player 1 and place this in the current score. Then I'm setting the bool value from highest score. I'm setting this with player 1 highest. And then the next part I have in my reset, I'm setting the reset for this array get next. So that's an important one, else you might have wrong positions. And then I set bool value for player 1 done and player 2 done. That's just for my players here, so I can reset this and use again. Let me see, then I'm changing the color to black for all my objects, and there's maybe a faster way for it, but I just did it like that now. Then I'm using the set bool value is player done. This I'm gonna use here to know if I looped already the second player also, and then I know I can finish. And I will show you after where I'm still using that. Then I have this set player, and that's just to set the player name. just the same as with the original. Check lowest is still the same as original, and everything in here also. Then after that, I'm gonna check the highest score. So I'm gonna check this bool if it's true. So if that's from player 1, so I have set this here. So it's gonna check this player 1 highest. And if it's higher, then it's gonna get the current index name object and score object and set the color here in red. And of course you can do different things for your own game, but this is just as a sample. And then if it's not highest, so I'm getting again this index number, this name object and score object from the current index, and I'm setting them to blue. Then after that I'm going to display the score, and then I'm going to check um, for the next player. Don't actually, I can swap this actually. Let me do this quickly. So that can be directly to next player done. And this goes here and this goes here. Because actually it doesn't need to display this yet, after only after the two are done. So I guess that's fine like this. Okay. Okay, so now let's go here to next player. So if player 1 has been done and player 2 not yet, so is player done is still false, and then it goes here to next player. Here I'm setting again the reset bool value to true for this array, not to get wrong positions. Then I set is player 2 done to true, so that's for here to know if we done player 2. Then I'm getting the score from player 2 into the current score, and the player 2 highest in bool into the highest score bool. And also an important one here, I'm doing a bool test on the player 2 highest. If is set to true, so if player 2 has a higher score than player 1, then I have to do some stuff still here, and I need to change back the color here from player 1. So let's say player 1 was on the 5th position, so I'm gonna grade this out again, or black. I make them black again. Then so on my name object and score object, which I got already from here, so I don't need to get them from the array because they are still in these values. And then I add 1 to the current index, and then I do a compare if the index did not reach 10, because 10 will be the 11th position and we don't have an 11th position, and then I would get index out of range errors, so that's why I have this in compare. So if it's equal or greater than 10, it's going to go finish directly and skip everything below this. I also right click this and set action sequence actually. So it's going from up to down and wait till every action has finished. Let me see, where was I? So I did this compare. So if it's within the top 10, it's gonna continue here. And I have my array get next from the current index, but that's the index plus 1. So instead of on 5th position, it's going to take then the 6th position and change that color in blue. And let me just play this so I can show you. So player 1 stop and player 2 has a higher score. So first player 1 is set, but normally player 1 is on the 5th position, I think. No, it's on the 6th position. So now when I press this again, you see it's moved down to the 7th position, and then it's going to be on the right position. Okay, so that's that. And so after this is done, so it loops here to set the position for player 2. If it's higher or not higher, it's going to set the color blue or red. And if it's done, it's going to display the score. Sorry. I have just a next frame event, and then I broadcast all reset. So just to go back here to start the timers again. And that's about it. So I hope this helped you out, and thanks for watching.